Good evening. Welcome to another edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show right here on YouTube. My name is Leon Jones, and tonight I'm going to get right back into the scam series, but I'm going to veer off just slightly, but I believe it's still a scam. And tonight I'm going to talk about the New York City migrant open air market and the prison raid in Fulton County, which is in Atlanta, Georgia, and the sheriff believes that drones were part of it. Now, I know the migration of illegals has been a very big part of a political issue. I believe we should protect our borders. Now, are there people who come into this country who want to get away from the chaos of their own countries? Absolutely. But they should do it the right way. The problem here is you have a number of individuals coming across the border and they're criminals. And in New York City, I'll get to the video in a moment, but there was an open air market. Now, this open air market was an unusual open air market because when we looked at what happened with all the looting going on here, well, the people who looted, they may have sold some of the information, sold some of the products. And when I mean information, could have gone in there and stolen some. Well, they did go in there and steal the information on how to steal the products from places like Target and Walmart and some of your urban areas. This is why those urban areas don't have Targets and Walmarts. But this situation is different. Why is it different? Because it involved illegals, of course. Now, what these illegals did was they went into the stores like Home Depot, and stole many items. This is what we call black market. And in some of the females, they were used as prostitutes. So I guess a guy could go in, get some stolen merchandise for wholesale price, and get some pleasure at the same time. What a deal. The bottom line is this is why the cost of goods go up, because you have individuals shoplifting and nobody cares. They're just letting it happen. Now, of course, on a political side, it's in the blue states. New York City, one of them. You got a law in California that you can't do anything if an individual goes and shoplifts up to $1,000 worth of merchandise. You had it in Chicago, individuals stealing sneakers. Now, before I get in the video, I got to get into this jailhouse raid. And there were individuals who got fired as well. Now, the sheriff believes that the drones, now you think about it, as I talk about the scam series, drones have gotten into criminals' hands. Well, let's get into the article first. It talks about the raid at Fulton County Jail, drugs, shanks, phones, and more seized. And the sheriff believes drones are involved. Notice what he said, drones are involved. Now, if you're not familiar where Fulton County is, now, of course, here in Indiana, we have a Fulton County. We're dealing with Fulton County, Georgia, in Atlanta. Now, the Fulton County Sheriff's Office confiscated drugs, tobacco, shanks, a makeshift hatchet, and even a bullet during a recent raid of the Fulton County Jail. Channel 2 investigative reporter Mark Wynn spoke with the sheriff about the raid and how they believe some of the items got into the hands of inmates. Now, generally, just like the open air market that I talked about, they do get in the hands of inmates. That's how you get a lot of money. Some of these inmates in jail for life, they're making money. Now, other items that were seized, and they're also illegal, cell phones, which can sell for thousands of dollars in jail. Again, it's a big extortion scheme going on. Now, Sheriff Pat Labat believes drones were used to get these items into the jail. Labat said the Fulton County Sheriff's Office jail strike team struck a vein of contraband quickly. In the first zone, they hit on a high security seventh floor of the jail. So before Saturday morning was done, men and women normally assigned not just to the jail, but to the courthouse and across the sheriff's office, who had assembled in the early morning darkness, had amassed a massive amount of dangerous material inmates aren't supposed to have, but they had them. Natalie Ammons with the Fulton County Sheriff's Office said over a dozen suspected crack pipes were taken from inside the jail. The sheriff's office said the shakedown turned up 22 illegal cell phones, suspected marijuana, tobacco, plenty of pills, even a bottle labeled as the prescription drug promethazine. And then there were weapons, shanks made from the building. Surprised that the buildings are still standing, Labat said. Labat is the sheriff. Are most of the weapons stripped out of the building? When asked. From the plumbing shafts to the lighting fixtures, Labat responded. Major Bernice Howard with the Fulton County Sheriff's Office said inmates used exposed wires in a light fixture to start a fire and then melt a hole in the plastic windows of their cell so they can access contraband delivered to them by drones. When got a reaction from one inmate near the zone about the shakedown. We don't have any problems up here. These folks coming up here antagonizing us. We ain't got no problems here, the inmate said. The inmate that was interviewed on camera early this morning, what did you find in the cell he shares with someone else when asked? Collected 2 cell phones out of that cell. Ammons responded. Well, again, lots of things go on. But if you think about it, drones, technology, drones are used as surveillance. So now you have drones in the hands of criminals. And these drones are set up there to guard our borders. Now, some of these drones were set up there to, during the Rona, to capture to see if individuals had the virus. Now, again, I love technology, but technology, when it gets into the wrong hands, it can do the wrong thing. Now, we're going to get down to business again. We're gonna get into these raids, and shout out to TJ, my sweet chocolate, for giving me this information. First, let's get into the raid. Now, again, fair use, fair use. And I want you all to sit back and you see for yourself what's going on in this prison. These videos are for educational purposes.
With Monday.com, every business, no matter the industry or size, can simply work better. Monday.com.
New at 6, only Channel 2 Action News is taking you inside a raid of the Fulton County Jail. And this is just some of what strike teams confiscated, things like drugs, cell phones, shanks, a makeshift hatchet, even a bullet. Channel 2 investigative reporter Mark Winnie has this exclusive story live from Northwest Atlanta. And Mark, the sheriff believes someone actually used drones to get stuff into the hands of inmates.
And the Fulton County Sheriff's Office says this is some of the contraband recovered in the massive shakedown we're on inside the Fulton County Jail. And a lot of the illegal cell phones, which can go for thousands inside the jail, drugs and tobacco recovered, came into the jail via illegal drone drops. Wait till you see the ingenuity involved, however misguided.
The science is very simple, ladies and gentlemen. The only thing we're going up here to do is a massive shakedown. We're looking for any weapons, drugs, or any contraband that the inmates are not supposed to have.
Sheriff Pat Labatt says the Fulton County Sheriff's Office jail strike team struck a vein of contraband quickly in the first zone they hit.
This is a cell phone and charger found within seconds of hitting this unit.
Yes.
On the high security 7th floor of the Fulton County Jail.
This has been a high priority area for us with respect to drone activity.
And before Saturday morning was done, men and women normally assigned not just to the jail, but to the courthouse and across the sheriff's office, who had assembled in the early morning darkness, had amassed a massive amount of dangerous material inmates aren't supposed to have, but did. Lots of makeshift weapons, including shanks, even a makeshift hatchet, cell phones, even a bullet, suspected drugs. The Fulton County Sheriff's Office says all this from one shakedown. These are more than a half dozen suspected crack pipes?
Yes.
Taken from inside the jail.
Yep.
The Sheriff's Office says the shakedown turned up 22 illegal cell phones, suspected marijuana, tobacco, plenty of pills, even a bottle labeled as the prescription drug promethazine. And then there are the weapons.
I'm surprised the building's still standing.
Most of the weapons made from things stripped out of the building.
From the plumbing shafts to the lighting fixtures.
It smells like it.
We had watched as the stuff piled up in that one zone. Where'd those come from?
Cell 504.
It's just our commissary kiosk,
But what's it turned into?
a charging station.
This is marijuana from California. This is found in the cells. And that's marijuana?
Yes, sir.
How did that hole get in the window?
Through the inmates burning, they use, as you can see, the exposed wires up in the light fixture, so they'll use that to start fires, and then they would just sit there until they can melt away the plastic. So the reason why now the inmates burn the holes inside of the windows is because they're using drones.
We told the story of drones in prisons, but drone drops are now a major factor in the contraband trade at the Fulton County Jail.
Absolutely. Some have crash landed and ultimately with different types of payloads.
In trial. 15 on right. I'm away in trial.
Innocent or guilty?
I'm innocent. I'm innocent.
Near the zone, we got shakedown reaction from one inmate.
We don't have no problems back here. These folk coming up here antagonizing it. We ain't got no problems up here.
The inmate we interviewed on camera earlier this morning, what'd you find in the cell he shares with somebody else?
We collected 2 cell phones out of that cell.
You know anything about a couple of cell phones?
I don't know nothing about no contraband. No name about no contraband, no cell. I'm here away in trial.
In fairness, Natalie Ammons with the Sheriff's Office says there is no way to know if the cell phones belong to the inmate we interviewed, a cellmate, or someone else, and he was not charged with them. And I guess this image puts a fine point on the danger faced by staff and inmates here in the Fulton County Jail. The Sheriff's Office says the jail staff does smaller shakedowns on a regular basis, but the last one of this magnitude was shortly before Thanksgiving. Live inside the Fulton County Jail, Mark Winnie, Channel 2 Action News.
Mark, that is absolutely unbelievable. Not only the amount of stuff, but how they're getting it in. And we've been showing you the backstory on problems with drones, contraband, and inmates. Last month, Channel 2 investigative reporter Mark Winnie was with the Department of Corrections agents as they raided a drone repair shop in Gwinnett County called Thunder Drones. Agents arrested the owner, Robert Schwartz, and seized dozens of drones. They believe Schwartz has ties with gang members, and those drones were used to drop drugs and contraband into prisons.
Choosing the right project management tool can feel.
There you have it, drones. And you saw how the inmates, they took information, and I know they had their gatherings. And let me tell you something, these inmates are not stupid. This is why, I mean, believe it or not, there was somebody who escaped Alcatraz. Bet you somebody's escaped Rikers Island. Now, again, in prison, you have a number of these individuals, they're there to make money, especially at the canteen. Let's get a little bit, let's go somewhere else, because I want to get you all to the, and this is really saddening. That was saddening. Now, there have been a number of jailhouse raids, but the individuals up there that don't want to guard the border, especially in some of the blue states with the big blue cities, well, these migrants, they know how to make money. They know how to make money off of businesses that were built here in the United States, not by them, but by the elitists. And what these migrants have done, they've taken the product from some of these stores and put it on a market and sold it for a lot less than what you would pay for. If you don't believe me, fair use. We're going to go and we're going to talk about it right now. And this is from the New York Post. Again, Sweet Chocolate told me, Gene, for sending me this video. And this is what the scam series is about. Well, we're going
you get warned and then you get stabbed. I was pretty sure I was going to be stabbed at least 2 or 3 times reporting on this story. A reader reached out to me. They said several spots along Roosevelt Avenue were turning into what they described as the Wild Wild West, a illegal open-air bazaar where you could find anything from hookers to stolen Makita drills. Like anything you can think of, you could get as long as you had the cash. It was all out in the open and nobody seemed to care. These individuals were stealing from stores right here, right where they're selling. They're stealing from these stores, taking the items outside and then selling them right in front of the stores they just stole them. There's a place right behind me called Lot Less. It's kind of like a retail kind of establishment. The gentleman who was running security there, who was actually hired and brought in just to deal with these people, he told me that he had stopped or he had caught 20 individuals stealing that week. If this continues, these stores cannot compete with people who are illegally selling their stolen merchandise. The one that was like the most brazen was the guy who pulls up in a van and he pulls out a folding table and he starts building a display of Home Depot power tools that were stolen recently. And you can tell because the tags on the boxes actually have the current SKU numbers. And he's selling them for like a drill that's like $249. He's selling for like $70. I'm looking at a like little team meeting that's going on right now of the merchants that are selling all these stolen goods. Actually, like everybody on the street now around me is part of the crew that is selling these stolen goods. They kind of work in concert. They have lookouts on the corners, which alert them when the police are coming or when there's any kind of trouble. They have their items laid out on big, like, beach towels that they could just kind of wrap it up, bundle it up, throw it over their shoulders, and hightail it out of there. The police do come by, they do sweeps, they'll arrest one or two of them, but within minutes of the police leaving, everybody comes back, sets right back up, and it's like nothing happened. And there's a guy right now taking a young prostitute into a building. He just solicited a prostitute and then took her with him right here in front of me right now as I'm talking to you. And my photographer has been taking pictures of them all day. They don't care. They're not like worried or, you know, trying to hide or trying not to be conspicuous. I can tell you from just what I've observed that the madams that are running the prostitutes right here in front of me on the avenue, they don't give a hang. They're not scared at all. All the vendors that I've observed, they were all migrants who crossed into this country in the last year or two. Throughout 2023, the number of these vendors continued to grow exponentially, and the number of robberies in the stores around here just going off the chart. So this was actually a very dangerous assignment. More than one photographer expressed to me their fear of getting stabbed doing this job, and I could tell you personally, I was pretty sure I was going to be stabbed at least 2 or 3 times reporting on this story. The people that are selling these items, they're not just like one person who's acting on their own and this is all that they have and they're trying to sell it on the street. This is kind of like a network. I've had more than one person come over to me while I'm reporting on this story and tell me, you can't do this. You're gonna get stabbed. Like, that's what happens here. That's what happens. You get warned and then you get stabbed. And I got warned multiple times. Luckily for me, I never got stabbed. Some jobs you just have to decide how far you're gonna go, how much do you want the story. In this story, I wanted this story because it's been kicked around a bunch. Like, a bunch of people have been talking about this, but nobody's come out here and actually gotten photographic evidence and spoken to the individuals being robbed and published that story. That has not happened yet. So I wanted this to get the story out, and luckily we were able to.
There you have it. So you want all the migrants to come into your city, and a number of them are criminals. Now, just like the video stated, they're vendors. Now, don't get me wrong. You have some migrants who cross the border and they come here to work. Now, I've always said that crossing the border gives the elites a chance to hire almost free labor. They do keep the wages down, but there's a criminal element that also infiltrates inside the innocent migrants. In other words, they shield themselves inside, so you don't know. So going back, looking over both of these events that took place, both of them dealt with illegal products. You had in Fulton County, members in jail, contraband. You saw the drugs, the shanks. You saw the prisoners or the inmates take material from the building to make contraband, bringing in cell phones. Now, again, when it comes to being locked up, some hardened criminals, some of them will never see the light of day, but it doesn't mean that they're not going to get in there and make money. And you saw what they did over there, like a charger, made a homemade charger. Now, of course, this isn't new. It's been going on. Now, of course, the black sector YouTube, how many people are going to do a story like this? If they do, I'm the first one that actually has gotten it, because again, this is what's going on out here in the real world. And many of us, we go on about our lives and we think nothing's going to happen to us. When you have technology like drones, it can be placed into the wrong hands, or it can be used for something that is evil. And what we're looking at today here in this country, we're looking at good and evil. And as I stated before in a previous video, you have individuals who live the American dream by scheme, and then you have some that don't. And I asked, well, what do you consider the American dream? Now, these migrants, they're scheming to the American dream because I'll be honest with you, there are some individuals, I guarantee, even American people, who stop by that illegal open air market. I mean, did you see the equipment, the product? I mean, some fantastic tools, $240, $250. They're going to go out there. That's what we call black market. And generally in the streets, when you go see anything black market, you best believe it's not quality for the most part. But what you saw, they went right into the retailers and took it. Now, here's what's going to happen. And this is in New York. Now that the story is out, the retailers, they're either going to close or they're either going to relocate. And this is where you're going to have the victimhood now. Oh, well, you're leaving because we're black, we're brown. No, leaving because we can't make money because you have individuals coming in and taking it and selling it for black market prices. Now, if you look at how everything was orchestrated, I mean, they had lookouts. And even the police could come in and it could return some of the merchandise, but these individuals were right back at it again. And when the police are gone, you got people that are selling the merchandise, hot merchandise, and then the madams, all the prostitutes that they had over there. So in other words, I will say this: you can go get some good pleasure while you're buying from the black market. Isn't that something? That's extortion to the finest. That right there. These guys are going to, if they don't see jail time, which I doubt, because in some of these states, I mean, you heard the reporter, nobody cares. Well, that's New York City. There's a lot of things that go on in New York City that people don't care about. That's how it is. People are about themselves. I didn't see anything. That's the attitude. But looking at all that merchandise, they're going to make a lot of money off of it. And believe you me, just like those prisoners or those inmates, they're not stupid. See, when you understand the system, there are loopholes in the system. And one thing, these migrants, they're coming across the border in droves. If you have a retail business in some of these cities, don't believe that they're not going to come after you. Because if they see something worth seizing, they're going to take it. They may even take your life to take it. Especially if you live in the blue areas like Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, Baltimore, DC, Philadelphia, New York, Boston, Detroit, Milwaukee, Cleveland, Columbus, and Cincinnati, and Atlanta. The bigger cities have the population, but they have the most migrant problems. and then going down to Atlanta. I guarantee that there were so many officers involved with that too. I know I've seen a couple of clips in Atlanta where some of these correction officers, African American women, and this is not a slap at the African American women, but those officers making African American women look bad. There's a lot of information on, I believe 3 of them, they were fired. One was fired for fighting. Another one was fired for ghost employment, $130,000 of undocumented time. And this is law enforcement. We get the reducing the police. the police are part of it. Yeah, sheriffs are police officers too. But you got the wrong element. And what's affecting this country? It's the wrong element. This is why I tell you capitalism. And I love capitalism. But this is why you have individuals that believe the government should control everything. Well, you let that happen. You think you have innocent people in the government? Absolutely not. In fact, some of the people in government are the biggest crooks out there. Why? Because they make all the rules and they know how to get away with it. Now, some get caught, depending on who's in power. Look, unless this gets out there in the open, the bottom line is nobody's going to care. I mean, I'm only one person doing a story. We need more people doing stories. And then, like I said, what's going on, and they believe that sheriff down there, he's a problem. I believe he's a problem. And remember, sheriffs are all elected positions, I believe. And you got law enforcement, you got drones, you got migrants. That's what the evil does. And for the most part, you have a number of citizens that don't even pay attention. But here's the issue. When you have to go into some of these retailers like a Home Depot, and you really want to buy a DeWalt drill, and that DeWalt drill is $1,000, then I believe you might start paying attention. Because what I just showed you is one of the reasons why retailers have a spike in a lot of the goods. Because you have a number of individuals stealing it, selling it at black market prices. Now, again, there was a song out there, I can't find it, but I believe his name was McMillan, James McMillan. He was running for governor in New York. And some of the DJs took an old saying that he made: the rent is too damn high. Well, if you go shopping, products and gas, they're too damn high. But there's always somebody at the other end who's benefiting off of it. And again, here in America, we got 2 different elements. We got a criminal element and we got an elite element. And what are they doing? Greed. And we're getting scammed. I mean, you think about what goes on with our tax money. You think about what goes on with our laws. Sure, everything's for the law-abiding citizen. But the people who are making the laws are making money hand over foot. You have these migrants out here, and believe it, it's probably not just in New York City. It's probably other places as well. Because when there's an opportunity, they're going to take it. because some of them have already gotten the message, probably from some of their family members up here, that they don't want to go to work for 10, 15, even $20 an hour. Black market. And believe me, there are some people up there. You didn't see who was buying everything from the black market. But there were some people that are right here from the United States. Heck, you're gonna go sell somebody a DeWalt drill. A DeWalt drill is a very good drill. Heck, I probably would have gone and paid $70. And there was nothing wrong with those products. But I always ask, if you got to do all that work to steal the product, now this is where they're not smart businessmen. Now don't get influenced by what I'm going to say. Why can't you jack up the price and make a profit? I mean, you think about it. You go and steal some drills and they're $240 a piece, but yet you sell them for 70. You just lost 170. So you're not even making any profit. You lost 2/3 of hard work that you put in. But they don't know anything about business. See, they want to do everything quickly. This is what's going on too in New York City. Get a brand new car up there. Next thing you know, that car is sitting on blocks. Took the tires off, battery out, selling parts. Now, of course, this isn't new though. But I just want you to see who's responsible for these black markets. And everybody's going to say the migrants. No. They did the action. It's your government. Want to have the government handling your resources? Your government is not protecting the borders. This is what happens when one side of the coin, the Democratic Party, is looking for more votes so we can get more degenerates in here so they can hijack society. If you think about it, it's been more homeless, higher prices. Education system is terrible. The value of a dollar is terrible. And you got a number of people out there who aren't paying attention. And then you got defund the police. Well, I tell you what, that right there, there's some videos out right now. 3 corrections officers, all whatever, 3 black women and a black man. Now, well, we say we don't have anything. Now, I'm not saying that it's all black men and black women doing a crime. Don't get me wrong, because some of your white collar crimes are done by some of your elitists who don't share my skin color, and they've been getting away with it. There are also crooks. Crooks come in all size, shapes, and colors. But what I'm just putting out here to you all is we have a segment in our population who just lets everything go. Don't care about anything. You know why they don't care about anything? Because it's not happening to them. The only time people will become proactive is if it is happening in your backyard and it doesn't benefit you. Now, again, what you just saw was a reason why we need to protect the borders and the security. You see, when the Democrats back in 20 wanted to defund the police, well, they're hiring a lot of younger police officers. Sheriffs, they're police officers as well. They're doing dirt. You know why? They don't care. It's a paycheck to them. And if they do their dirt long enough, they're going to end up with a pension from doing dirt. This is why law enforcement, which is government, it's not respected. And bottom line, this is why I say America, you have to really think about it. You have good versus evil, cultures clashing. See, this is not a civil war, this is a culture war. And the mainstream media is winning. I'm not even talking politics because they're, believe it or not, there are people who are on the left who are good people. They just have their views. People on the right that are good people. But you just have a lot of evil people out here. And they don't care. And when nobody's watching, they're going to do their dirt. Heck, they're doing their dirt in front of people. And people are watching. And they're taking pictures with their cell phones. And they're posting it up on Instagram, Facebook. It's what's happening out here. And what I'm out here to say is this. Is America a dream or is it a scheme? It's subjective. Because either way, you got crooks on the bottom and you got crooks on the top. And you know who follows the rules? Your rank and file. All of us worker bees. We're the ones who get the punishments. We're the ones who get the records. We're the ones that have to go out and struggle for a living. And believe it or not, we're the ones who pay the most taxes. But here's the problem with many of us. Many of us aren't paying attention. Also, many of us, because it's not happening to us, we ignore it. We don't care. So basically, if you think about it, you got the drones, surveillance. Were those drones put in the wrong hands? Was the sheriff's department involved with what went on in that prison? We don't know. So these are questions that nobody is asking. How did the sheriff, I think it was Pat Labat, how did he know it was drones? Because some things that happen, if you know what's going on an inside, it could be an inside job. Who was cooperating with the inmates? Because you do now these days, particularly with the female inmates now working in the male prison, which they shouldn't be doing that in the first place, but they do. Well, you have a number of those female correction officers, they're being influenced by some of these inmates. This is why so many inmates used to be when you went to prison, it was punishment. Now people go in, they come out, can't make it, they'll go back in. And they're going to get the same thing that we get here on the outside. They're going to get money. They're going to get weapons. Now, this happened to be a raid. Now, But how many raids really take place? We don't know. But what you saw in these two clips, you saw a matter of evil taking place. That's why I always tell you, when it comes to America the dream, America the scheme, it's all subjective. Because if you're comfortable where you are, and you're not worried about too much, it could be a dream for you. But if you always have to keep plotting and scheming, you're not happy where you are. So you're trying to find that dream or scheme. Now, I will tell you this. For everybody who's going out there voting, I'm going to jump in some politics right now. You already saw an example of law enforcement. You already saw an example of the migrants out there. Funny thing about it, this is election year. And it's not just for the president. Some states, like my state here in Indiana, they're going to be electing new governor. A lot of political commercials that have come on. Now, the way I look at a lot of these politicians, if you think about it, they've been crooking all their lives. That's why they stay in office for a while. And they make it so they don't get caught. And they've been crooking by giving money away, our hard-earned tax money, to Ukraine, to other governments. And what do the other governments do? Keep the money for themselves. They don't help their people. Governments are crooked. For you individuals out there who want socialism and communism, you need to go into one of these countries and really live under those systems. Now, I know some people will say, well, I can go to Portugal or Sweden. Those are small countries. You don't have a lot of taxpayers, but I guarantee the taxes are high. But here you got 330 to 350 million people. That wouldn't work here. And here in these developed countries, you got a lot of schemes. And you have a lot of schemes because you have people out there who don't know what's going on, who don't care what's going on. And in the end, what you have to do, you have to look at what side you want to be on. Want to be on the good side? You want to be on the evil side? Because I'm going to tell you something about money right now. As much as we like it, money will turn an honest man into a crook. And when they turn into a crook, money becomes addictive, like alcohol. Because the crook, whether smart, whether intelligent, he or she is going to do anything to try to get that money. Because they don't want to go and make it the honest way. They want to get it the evil way. And in the end, here's what happens. You either get caught, go to jail, you make a name for yourself, or you escape from the system altogether. But either way, when it comes to money, I'll repeat myself one more time. Because you saw it with the immigrants, the migrants, and you saw it with this raid in Fulton County. Both sides trying to make money. And in the end, Some did, and some didn't. What you think about it? Money turns an honest man and woman into a criminal. If you don't believe me, go see it for yourself. And then come back and watch more of these videos that I do on a scam series. Because from what I see right now, when it comes to America, it's all up to you. Is America a dream? Was America a scheme? You be the judge. And that's my commentary for this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show right here on YouTube. If you like what I just presented, please comment, share, and subscribe. And if you're looking for some STEM content, I'll be bringing up some STEM content tomorrow, as I do just about every Thursday. Check out the QCIS channel, also here on YouTube. Now, when I finish recording all of my videos, I upload them to my Twitter page for the QCIS channel. I actually go one step further, since it is an educational channel. That's right, the QCIS channel is an educational channel. You can also find that channel on my LinkedIn page. And as I say again about my LinkedIn page, I've had some individuals who are telling me they like my resume when I like to chat. I don't chat on LinkedIn. If you want to watch my videos, support my videos. If you're not in engineering or construction, I don't want to talk to you. I use that for networking, not chatting. Just remember that. Throw that in there. So, of course, again, you can find all of my videos from the QCIS channel on LinkedIn, because they're educational videos. And in the end, be blessed for what you have. Don't worry about what you don't have. Always know that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. But if the shoe fits, wear it. If you don't like the shoe, change it. And once again, thank you for listening to this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show right here on YouTube. Till next time, my name is Leon Jones. I want you all to have a wonderful and gracious evening. God bless you. I'm out.